I'm so scared now. Oh, that!
Violence and the threat of human sacrifice disturb the Most Haunted team as our investigation into Chislehurst Caves resumes.
Here, where are you?
And this week we go further underground in Kent, where the ghosts of murdered victims and evil entities wander in abundance. Welcome back to Most Haunted and Chislehurst Caves. This amazing cave network has so many ghost stories. The man-made system is over 20 miles long and is 8,000 years old. The caves also contain an ancient druid temple, complete with sinister sacrificial altars. We've already spent a considerable time underground, and this is what has happened so far.
You probably weren't dead then.
How are we going to find a way out? What now?
Oh, somebody just been through!
We now head deeper into the labyrinthine tunnels where evil is said to lurk in every corner. There is a very big contrast here in the tunnels. On one hand, there is a church which would have been a place of peace, safety and sanctity for many, but a short walk away is a place of fear, terror and death. A sacrificial altar. Although no one knows how many people may have died here, what is known is that their last minutes would have been filled with abject fear. So is it the lost souls of these sacrificed victims that plague this area, showing themselves as bloody phantoms and causing the poltergeist activity that is so prevalent throughout this area? This is one of the most active and feared places in the caves, and yet first appears to be a harmless, large natural pool of water in a chamber with no echo, which proves you can never judge a book by its cover. A callous and gruesome murder took place in these very waters. A woman was brought here, tied up, weighted with heavy stones and thrown into the pool to drown. As she struggled for breath and slowly died, she would have seen her attacker through the clear water, watching her death throes. But why she was killed and by whom are unknown. Even the most hardened guides will tell of seeing unexplained shadowy figures in this place. It's believed that an apparition from this area has caused people to faint and even reduce some to a quivering, fit-like state. One of the most feared phantoms that continues to roam these tunnels is that of a hunchback. First, the sounds of his laboured breathing is heard, followed by the sounds of movement as he limps closer and closer. Finally, the full apparition of this terrifying entity comes into view. Will he show himself tonight? We have one more night to find out. As the Most Haunted team prepare to spend a second night of paranormal investigation in the Chislehurst Caves, I asked historian Leslie Smith to put the tunnels into specific time periods given their ancient history.
When we get to 1903, we get this tremendous change here. This becomes a great Edwardian tourist attraction. And a man in 1903 who caused quite a stir, his name was Nichols, and he was, if you like, the deputy chairman or deputy president of the British Archaeological Society, who declared that these mines were split into three parts, in his opinion: one Druids, one Romans, and the other one Saxons. And they were called that because that is when he believed these areas were mined. When we get in Druids, which many people find breathtakingly frightening, you will see what looks like channels and bowls for human sacrifice that Druids were definitely involved in. But were they involved here? We don't know.
With the experiences of our first night's investigation still fresh in our minds, I wondered what parapsychologist Dr. Kieran O'Keefe thought we should be considering before we resumed our exploration of these fascinating but frightening tunnels. Okay, Kieran, you ready for part 2 of our investigation here? I am very nervous because we're going to go even deeper into the caves. We're going to be touching upon the darker side of the whole history of this network of tunnels. And there's some amazing stories here, aren't there? There really are, and very frightening.
Yeah, there's the stories about vigils that were conducted here before, that people have had to stop. There's the story about the pool behind us, which of course was, at the time, I think it was 8 feet deep, but for safety issues, when there were evacuees down here, they had to fill it in. So it's not as impressive now as it was back then. But the murder associated with that, loads of different things. And like you say, all of them very negative feel.
Now the reason why they closed the tunnels down at night was because 2 gentlemen came down here in the 80s to do a ghost hunt, and one of them was taken to hospital, had a fit, and actually swears that someone was trying to get at him using his sleeping bag. What's going on there?
It's an amazing account, you know, and there are aspects of it where I think, okay, did this man suffer from epilepsy perhaps or something like that because of the frothing of the mouth? But that's only one part of the story. For him to be also coherent and say, I think somebody was attacking me, you know, I'm wrapped in my sleeping bag, that's not to do with epilepsy. That's a completely different thing. But maybe that's to do with sleep paralysis. Maybe there's another aspect where the other guy was playing a trick on him. I don't know. It's all speculation, and there's so much that happened to that one person and the other guy on the vigil, and so much that happened to the point where they had to stop a charity event, that it makes me think maybe we're dealing with something a little bit more, something that I haven't come across before, maybe something paranormal.
Given the activity we had witnessed during our previous night's investigation, we were full of anticipation for another night of scares and strange phenomena. Joined by medium and psychic artist Brian Shepherd, we prepared to plunge deeper into the cave system, with the reassurance that a lit walkthrough would perhaps keep the more frightening spectres at arm's length. What further revelations await us in the coming hours as we continue our puzzling investigation?
Something happened to her in this part of these caves.
What happened to her?
What?
Who are you? You're evil, aren't you? Come towards us, if you dare. The Most Haunted team is spending a second night investigating Chislehurst caves, deep beneath the peaceful countryside of Kent. Joined by medium and psychic artist Brian Shepherd, we move further into the miles of seemingly endless tunnels. With a feeling of trepidation hanging over the team, we wonder what more shocks could lie in wait over the coming hours.
There's a definite presence here of a woman, predominantly a woman.
Right.
Something happened to a woman here.
Okay. Can you see her?
I can see her. It's long hair, flowing dress, or parts of clothing. What's that?
Oh my God. Did you all hear that?
Something happened to her in this part of these caves.
What happened to her?
What?
What?
There's something happened. There's something. Water. Woman, water, long hair, ropes, weights, stone, drowning.
Oh my God.
Oh my. Drowning?
Can you hear that?
Here,
Right?
here. There's a pool.
Yeah.
There, listen. The nearer we get to the pool. Did you hear that?
Yes, I did. What happened to her?
She was weighted down. Look at the water level. Look how deep the water is